We are ready to talk about Review and Preview 6.2.1 Part 1. The first question gives you two different expressions and it asks you two questions. The first question is, how can you check to see if these expressions are equivalent? So the first thing I'm looking for is a description of what you would do to be able to make that decision if they're the same. And then the second question is, are they? So are they equal? Once you describe to me how you're going to be able to tell, make sure you say yes, they are equal, or no, they are not equal. For question 70, they describe a rectangle. They give us the area and they give us the length, and they ask us to use that to find the width. Keep in mind, if we know the area, we can divide the area by the width, the area by the length. That's going to give us the width, but you've also got to consider that you have a decimal and you have a fraction to work with. So make some decisions. If you're going to change the 1.5 to a mixed number and then an improper fraction, think through how you're going to approach that. Once you know what the width is, they're asking you to find the perimeter. So we have two sides that are the same as the length plus two sides that are the same as the width. So make sure you have length plus width plus width. All four sides need to be included in your answer. And again, be sure both of those answers have labels. On question 71, we have two different trapezoids and we're asked to find the area. This is going to take us 3 steps to get there. The first thing we do would be to find the two parallel sides and add them together. The second thing we do is find the height and cut it in half. Then the third thing would be to take those two answers from the first steps and multiply them together to give us our answer. Be sure that you include a label with your answers as well. On question 72, it says to simplify each expression. Based on what we see, that means we have to follow order of operations to solve and see what we come up with. So for part A, I'm going to have to start inside the parentheses and subtract first. Whatever I get is going to have to be multiplied by 5. There's nothing between 5 and the parentheses. So after I subtract, I multiply by 5. Then what I get has to be taken away from 16. On part B, we have two different multiplication parts there, and those multiplication parts have to happen first. Then I can take each of those answers and add them together. You should come out with a nice whole number in the end. On part C, you'll notice that we've got an exponent in there. 2 to the second power means 2 times 2. And that you can see is being multiplied by 3 and 45 hundredths. And then your 8 and 18 hundredths times 1 then has to be subtracted from whatever you have at that point. And part D, we're going to work inside the parentheses first. So 5 minus 4. Then your exponent again is 2 times 2. We've got some multiplication in two different places that has to happen. And then the last thing that would be done would be our subtraction and our addition from left to right. Last question we've got is number 73. They give you several different values, some whole numbers, a decimal, some mixed numbers. So make sure you find where they belong on that number line, put a dot in that exact place, and then label it with the value up above. Be sure you use the value that they give you from the question. I will not accept letters. Use the value that they show you right there in the question.